Today's lesson is on surface area of prisms and cylinders. The Indiana Academic Standard is 7.5.4. We're going to find the surface area of prisms and cylinders using nets. We're also going to be using the surface area formulas that are on our Indiana reference sheet. A net is a two-dimensional pattern that you can fold to form a three-dimensional figure. When we looked at the 3D shapes the other day, the clear ones that had colored pieces inside of them that you could pull out were the nets. The colored pieces were the nets. The surface area of a prism is the sum of the areas of its faces. If you need more time to finish copying down these two definitions, pause the video. Example number 1, drawing a net. Draw a net for the cube. First draw one base, then draw one face that connects both bases. Next draw the other base. Draw and label the remaining faces. If you look at this net that's drawn, you can see the two bases, and then you can see the other four faces. We'll begin by drawing the bottom base. Then we'll draw the back face. Then we'll draw the top base. Now we're ready to draw the additional faces. So we'll draw the right face, the front face, and the left face. I've labeled all of my faces on my drawing so that it's easier for you to see. I hope that helps. Pause the video if you need more time to finish drawing your net for this cube. We're going to add an additional example to the front of the notes. You've got plenty of room to do this example. Go ahead and try and draw the shape on the front of your notes for this lesson. We have a rectangular prism that has the dimensions of 8, 10, and 12. We have to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. Now we're not going to draw a net for it, but what we are going to do is use the surface area formula, which is found on your Indiana reference sheet. The surface area formula for rectangular prism from the Indiana reference sheet is surface area equals 2 times length times width plus 2 times height times width plus 2 times length times height. So the first thing you're going to want to do is on your rectangular prism, label your length, your width, and your height. Now you can easily plug in all of these dimensions into your formula. So you will have surface area equals 2 times 8 times 12 plus 2 times 10 times 12 plus 2 times 8 times 10. If you have a scientific calculator, you can plug this in and your calculator will solve it correctly. So you could put in 2 times 8 times 12 plus 2 times 10 times 12 plus 2 times 8 times 10. If you don't have a scientific calculator with all the extra keys, you're going to have to do 2 times 8 times 12, write the answer down, then 2 times 10 times 12, write the answer down, and then 2 times 8 times 10 and write the answer down, and then add the three answers together. Because I have a scientific calculator, I can tell you that 2 times 8 times 12 plus 2 times 10 times 12 plus 2 times 8 times 10 is 592. Now, since we're finding surface area, we have to have a label. It's still area, so the label will be centimeters squared. So the surface area of this rectangular prism is 592 centimeters squared. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down this example. Don't forget to write down any questions that you might have so that we can discuss those in class. We are not going to do this triangular prism. We're going to focus on rectangular prisms and cylinders today. For this next example, we're finding the surface area of a cylinder. We're not going to use the net method, we're going to use the formula. So we're going to squeeze it in right here below the net. The formula for surface area of a cylinder is surface area equals 2 times pi times r squared plus 2 times pi times r times h. Now again, if you have a scientific calculator, you could punch this all in at the same time. You're going to need to be very, very careful. When you punch it in, you would punch 2 times 3.14 times whatever your radius is to the second power plus 2 times 3.14 times your radius times your height. I'll repeat that after we plug the numbers in. Let's take a look at our drawing here. We have a cylinder that has a height of 2 and a radius of 3. Some of you really struggled with your circle problems. It's going to be very careful that you pay attention and know the difference between radius and diameter. So we're going to plug in the numbers we know. So we have surface area equals 2 times pi times 3 squared plus 2 times pi times 3 times 2, because our height is 2. We're going to take 2 times 3.14 times 3 to the second power, make sure that you do that on your calculator properly, plus 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 2. And we get 94.2. Because this is surface area, our label is going to be squared. So our final answer is 94.2 centimeters squared. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down this example. Don't forget to write down any questions that you might have so that we can discuss those in class. Let's try quick check problem number 2 together. Find the surface area of the prism. Start with your formula. Surface area equals 2 times length times width plus 2 times height times width plus 2 times length times height. We need to label our rectangular prism. 16 is going to be our length, 5 is our width, and 4 is our height. Now we can place everything into the equation. So surface area equals 2 times 16 times 5 plus 2 times 4 times 5 plus 2 times 16 times 4. Now if you have a scientific calculator, you can put that in exactly how it appears and you get the answer 328. Now since it's surface area, our label will be feet squared. So the surface area of this rectangular prism is 328 feet squared. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down this example. Don't forget to write down any questions that you might have so that we can discuss those in class. Here's our last example to try together. What is the surface area of the cylinder? Round to the nearest tenth. We need to start with the formula. Surface area of a cylinder equals 2 times pi times radius squared plus 2 times pi times radius times height. We fill in our radius and our height. Now in our drawing, they don't give us the radius, they're giving us the diameter. So we have to know that the diameter is 20, the radius must be half of that, which is 10. So when we fill in our numbers, we have surface area equals 2 times pi times 10 squared plus 2 times pi times 10 times 45. We'll use our scientific calculator to solve for this. We're going to take 2 times 3.14 times the radius squared. The radius is 10, so 10 squared. Make sure that you do that properly in your calculator. Plus 2 times 3.14 times 10, which is our radius, times 45. We get that entered properly. The correct answer is 3,454. The surface area for this cylinder is 3,454 meters squared. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down this example. Don't forget to write down any questions that you might have so that we can discuss those in class.